Okay, all right, guys. So this is Kate. Welcome to Kate Language. This is a briefing class for the film analysis, which you're gonna have during the Christmas camp. And then today, so I'm really glad, I'm delighted to actually book the time from Robert, so he can actually give us a briefing about the class, how the class was designed, and also how he's gonna teach the class, and how he can actually guide us, mesmerize us into the film world. And Robert and I met each other how many years ago? Like 5?
I think so. I was going to say 5 for sure.
Pretty much like 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago. And then we used together before. We used to work together before. And then the person I knew about him, he was actually working in Vancouver before, right?
Yep.
Yes, and Robert worked in Vancouver in the film industry for years, and then he just, was in the movie film. I'm sorry, film production, and he took his work into the tour in Europe, went to some kind of a famous movie shows, and then after that, he just relocated back to Toronto and working in the education industry. And he's been teaching in private school, mostly for the high school English course for almost 10 years. And he's one of the very, very the most popular teachers in our school. I'm really glad that he recently came back to us. He could finally manage to, give me some time to schedule more classes for him. So everybody, let's hear out. This is Robert.
Thank you. Thanks for the kind introduction. You're too nice to me. It is nice to be back. I do like working at Kate Language. I was a cinema expert before I became a teacher, and I wanted to apply that knowledge to the media strand of literacy, because media literacy is an overall expectation in high school. It's my passion. So if we can have a cinema club that is equally as enjoyable as it is beneficial for your future learning, then I think that we could be onto something, so that your minds don't get lazy over winter break. We can proactively watch movies that are widely considered some of the best movies ever made throughout the history of film. So some films are timeless. Few films on this list, in fact, are black and white, but we're going to get through it together. I want to show you a little bit about myself before we start. So just to let you know, and I hope you can see this, but before I became a grade 12 teacher, I worked in cinema production. I started in Vancouver and Victoria. I spent time in Los Angeles. I've also worked in Europe for various film festivals, such as the Berlin Film Festival, Zurich, Athens, Cannes, London, Paris. I've worked in these places. My filmography includes the modern remake of RoboCop, The Mortal Instruments, Pompeii with Kit Harington, who was the star of Game of Thrones, 42, which is the biopic of Jackie Robinson, who was the first Black baseball player. I've also worked on Fox FX TV shows such as The Strain. You won't know that because it's rated R and it's on at night, late night. Cell 213 was the second movie I've ever worked on. Frankie Alice, I worked on with Halle Berry. I started in TV, made for TV movies. Movies of the week are big business in the United States. So I worked for the Lifetime Network and made Stranger with My Face. I did the network, or the Hallmark channel, which again is popular in the United States. They produce movies for about 5 to 10 million. I did Pictures of Hollis Woods with Sissy Spacek. I've also done movies like Carrie. I've worked on the TV show Vikings, if you're familiar with Vikings from the History Channel. So just to let you know that I've worked professionally and been paid in the industry. What did I do? I was often the writer's assistant, director's assistant, or producer's assistant. So one of the top 3, I was the executive too. So I learned a lot. One of the reasons why I wanted to leave film so I could start producing on my own. And I want to show you, sorry, I've just lost my last page. I want to show you the website that I started and the team that I work with. Now, again, if you're interested in cinema, and I deliberately haven't talked about the films that we're going to be watching, because I just wanted to show you that with the type of knowledge that we'll be discussing over Christmas, you'll be able to apply that eventually. And hopefully, I want to show you this right here. I'm actually a producer in the summer. As you know, teachers don't work. I produce movies in the summer. So my name is right here, and we have a company called The Sky Beneath Our Feet. And I'd like to show you one of the directors that I work with and one of our current projects and the types of things that we're able to do on computers should you ever take film production.
Oh yeah, by the way, do you mind me asking a quick question?
Sure.
You know, I was really surprised upon seeing the name list you wrote for me the other day. I know all of them are very classic. So like, but there are more than, I mean, classic movies are more than that, right? So why do you pick those movies for us? Like, what's the reason? What did you see in those movies?
Okay, well, the reason why I picked Rear Window is because it's all about a person who breaks his leg and he's stuck in his apartment and he starts staring out his window all the time. And he thinks that he's witnessed a violent crime from one of his neighbors, but no one believes him. So it's all about the fascination with other people's lives. And this film sort of set the stage for our current fascination with reality TV.
Spoiler alert! Don't tell us about the story, okay?
Well, a little bit. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
But I've seen that when I was in university, actually. But I'm just saying, like.
Well, it's a brief synopsis. Bicycle Thieves takes place on the streets of Italy, and it's about life as it is. It's called neoclassic realism.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what I want to show you now that I have it ready, sorry about that from before, is I wanted to sort of inspire you by showing if we study these films together and we understand the cinematic language, camera angles, themes, the way we cut, the way we layer visual effects through computers. If we're able to study, we're able to generate opinions and perspectives, through PowerPoints and critical film analysis that we'll be able to do as movie reviews, then there's no reason why we can't enjoy movies and make movies like this. Perfect on a major overall summative, just from feeling inspired in my cinema class.
Yeah, you know how I feel about it. It feels like a very versatile program in which students can learn how to write like a film critique, and then they get a chance to watch very classic movies from history, and then they get to have a discussion about all the different themes they probably had never get the chance to talk with their parents or friends, right? And also like they learn how to maybe do the cutting, something a little bit more professional in film industry. That's very intriguing. I'm interested too.
Yeah, just like an overview. I call this the Xmas Break Cinema Class. Don't let your mind get lazy. It's starring you because you will gain the ability to speak the language of media literacy, which is an overall high school expectation. So what are we talking about? What is the language? Well, it's technique. It's camera angles. It's lighting. It's drama. It's realism. It's acting, and it's dialogue. It's also themes, which are human, cultural, universal, and ultimately spiritual. We're talking genres in various forms. We're talking French and Italian neorealism. We're talking science fiction in the Space Odyssey. 3 different distinct forms of animation. One from Pixar, Inside Out, about the emotions in our brains, which are somehow cartoon characters. A film from Canada called The Triplets of Belleville. There's literally no dialogue. It's the most entertaining animated film I've seen without speaking at all. It's just a visual comic book. It's absolutely beautiful. Animated in Quebec.
French, no?
Yeah, it's animated in Quebec.
Ah, okay, all right.
But Canadian nevertheless, right? So that's special. And the other animated film is Spirited Away, the photo right here. From kind of looks like Amy actually. But Spirited Away is a very special film. I consider this the greatest animated movie ever made, and we'll talk about that if you sign up for my class. But again, we want to discuss elements of satire and drama as well. And to fully comprehend the difference between movies, which again are a dime a dozen on Netflix, and the world of film and cinema. And that's what we're doing is we're teaching the language of media literacy. So everything that is in the mise en scene within the film. So camera angles, lighting, drama is only part of it. The dialogue, only part of it. It's also our own interpretation, right? So your opinion matters to me, and your opinion will be unique from mine because you come from different cultural backgrounds. You have different teachings from your parents. You excel in different subjects. So your opinion on these films will be quite vital to how I might think differently about them too. So it's about challenging each other and respecting each other's opinions, and thinking that artistic movies are really, really cool. You'll start to notice the difference between great cinema and bubblegum movies. Right? There's even an extra film I put on there called It's a Wonderful Life that I'll be screening on Christmas Eve.
Oh, wow.
And it's all about a man who doesn't think he's valuable, and an angel comes down from heaven and shows him what the town would be like if he hadn't been born. And the town's not the same. It's really cool. Teaches him the value of life, even when you're having a rough time.
I read the summary for that movie. I heard it very inspiring. Yeah.
The last time I watched it, I was alone and I cried.
Wow. How old were you?
I actually didn't intend to tell anyone I cried because I was alone, so I let it all out. But now you guys know. Film provokes emotional reactions, right? Ones that we shouldn't be ashamed of. So these films hopefully will have the capacity to make you laugh, cry, but ultimately, hopefully, look at the human existence and see something more than just the shadow.
Well, this is a very funny story. You know, the other day I was talking on the phone with one of the students' parents, and then that parent advised me to pick some like more emotional and inspiring movies. I was like, yeah, inspiring, that sounds very good idea, but emotional, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, like when kids all sit in front of the camera watching each other from the computer, and then they have to hide their like crying, you know, like a very awkward moment, you know.
Sometimes
You
in
don't
class, I'll
cry
pass
together with people, you know.
True.
Yeah.
But something to get through together. Like watching a movie with someone when the movie is of this quality becomes an experience that we all share. So in class, we'll be taking a look at some of the movie clips. You'll be generating some ideas on your own. We'll be analyzing them together. You'll be writing movie reviews, more than why you like the movie, but why the movie's important to cinema. And there's a big difference. So I'm going to teach you to be objective writers, but you're going to enjoy this. You might even want to rewatch the films. I would urge you to buy them. They're not offensive. Most of them star children that are about your age, and they're overcoming challenges, and they're learning to become responsible in a world that's ever changing, especially in Spirited Away, about the little girl who gets swept off into an enchanted spirit world where she has to get a job, gain responsibility, earn the respect of her peers, and return to the real world to hopefully save her parents, which have turned into pigs because they've been eating too much.
Spoiler alert, come on.
It's not. That happens at the beginning. That's the premise. But, you know, it's incredible what children can do when they are put on the spot, challenged.
Are a bit irresponsible, in my opinion, however.
They are. It's true. She's absolutely right. She's right. So in a lot of these movies, including the 400 Blows from France, the Bicycle Thieves, you're going to notice that it's a theme. Parents are irresponsible, and the children have to grow up and take the reins. So it's a coming of age story for children where they're forced in a way to face their fears, overcome them, and find their place within the family that now looks at them differently. So it's really cool.
So you're suggesting us, like, after kids watching all those movies, that they'll appreciate their parents more, right?
Yeah, and vice versa. But more importantly, probably view themselves hopefully a little bit differently, and realize that maybe some of the fears they have and challenges that they have are something that's universal, that transcends cultures. Like you might be going through the same thing that, you know, our friend Antoine Daniel in the 400 Blows is going through in France 50 years ago. You'd be surprised the commonalities that we share throughout people in different cities, different countries. And it teaches us not only a bit about their culture, but a bit about ourselves too. We start to see ourselves in other characters, and we might even get a little bit of strength from them in the future.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Robert. So yeah, let me check out if anyone has any questions. That you can leave a short message in chat box, or you can just turn on the mic. So either the question for me or for Robert. Is there any questions? Oh, okay. This is from you, the link. All right.
Yeah, I put the link to my website that wasn't working. I think there's just too much going on the website because we're using heavy visual effects. So the visual effects that we show you on the website take up a lot of room. So it kind of slows the website down, which means on Zoom, it might be a little bit slow. But I urge you to visit that website, and it shows you what we have the capacity to do once you graduate from film school.
All right, yeah, that helps. So guys, just as a final information for today's like a briefing of the film analysis class, I have recorded the video and then I'm gonna post it on the Kate Language YouTube channel, and you can just subscribe us by like searching us like a Kate Language in English, and then you will see our channel and then subscribe it, and maybe click on the bell, and then you can get the reminder of the upcoming videos. So this is for this, and also for um, I think there are a few questions about like how you can get the access to watch your films, right? Actually, there are two methods for you. First of all, if you are people who, who are capable of reading Chinese subtitles, and then actually I find the resource from some Chinese websites in which you can just watch for the free movie. That's fine. And like most of the movies are English, and then even you don't read the Chinese subtitles, if you understand English, that would be fine. But a few of them are like from Italy, from France, right? So if you are not so sure about that, and then like it's very nice because Robert is so generous. He actually offered us to schedule movie night, right? So then, and he's gonna just screen the movie for all of us, and then you can just schedule some popcorn time with your parents or with your friends. You can invite them over, get the projector on the big screen if you have one, right? So that could be a party, right? Before the Christmas as a warm up, right? And then we're gonna just post the schedule upcoming days, and then you'll get the updates. All right? Okay. So any other questions here?
So I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that I will screen the movies on Zoom, and then you can sign in and watch them. We'll have movie nights. We'll plan a schedule based on the majority of availability. I don't mind doing a second screening in case someone can't be there. Like I have no problem putting these movies on. It's a flick of the switch. And frankly, I love rewatching them. I rewatched all these movies this past week just to make sure that I picked the right movies. I've got a lot of colleagues sending me emails saying, this should be on the list. This should be on the list. And I'm like,
oh, wow. That's very nice of them.
They all are trying to be involved. Like I got one friend, he's like, can I be a guest speaker? And I was like, no.
It's your show time, no guest speakers.
I want a lot of the immaterial information to come from feedback from the students. They're experiencing this for the first time. I'm going to teach them what language to use, and they're going to practice using it.
Okay, awesome. Also, you know what? Like not only me and 3 of other teachers are going to be there in your class during the Christmas and also the movie night, because I want to watch and learn, really.
That's amazing. Yeah, I want you to too. Anyone is welcome. All parents too, if they want to sit in.
Sure. Let's just make a hell of a Christmas, right? In the lockdown time.
Exactly. I mean, what better way than to insulate ourselves watching cinema of the highest caliber that's known universally? So once like these students watch these movies, they'll be able to reference these movies, and people will know them, like especially the films from France, Italy, England. They're known as the canon of cinema. Like some of the films I've selected are considered the top 10 of all time ever. I've got 2001, Rear Window, Bicycle Thieves, and The 400 Blows, all on the top 10 ever. So, I mean, that academic knowledge is profound. I didn't learn about these films until I was in film school in university.